Hey everyone, I'm Isabella Romero for AVID. This is my college research project. I'm doing my college research project on the University of Southern California, USC. And today I have a special guest. We have Paul Cicala, who you may know him from Channel 4, and he does sports. And he's also a USC graduate. Hi, Paul. Thank you
Yay.
for joining me.
No, thank you. Fight on, as they say at USC.
Yes. So I want to know about your experience in USC. What was your major?
My major, I actually had a double major. I had a major broadcast journalism, and my second major was Spanish linguistics and literature. So I had a double major, and I got 2 degrees. I actually went to USC though. I was always good at math and science, and just like you, I grew up in the South Side. I went to Desert View. I grew up in the Sunnyside district, and I was really good at math and science. And they always told me, you know what, you need to be an engineer because you're good at science, you're good at math. So I actually ended up getting accepted to USC in the School of Civil Engineering. But before I took any of my classes, I started to realize, you know what, my goal in life, my dream in life is to become a news reporter. So I said, you know what, I'm going to have to go after that dream or I'll probably regret it. So before I even took any classes in engineering, I just changed my major. Luckily, I was accepted to the USC School of Journalism. And then from there, I just went through everything. So, luckily it's worked out with my career as a journalist so far.
And why did you choose USC?
I chose it for many reasons. You know, they were good at the time when I got accepted as a civil engineering major. You know, they have a top 10 engineering program, but also I knew in the back of my head that I was probably going to want to do journalism because I was active in that even in high school, the high school newspaper and everything. So I chose them because of they had strong programs in both. You know, I was lucky enough to get good financial aid and good scholarships, so my financial need was actually determined to be 100%, quote unquote. So I knew that like USC has good programs where they will fulfill 100% of somebody's financial need when it comes to financial aid and everything, depending on what your upbringing is. That might include loans and everything too. But I got enough grants and loans and everything that worked out. And I also knew that I wanted to choose USC because I knew that a lot of the friends that I grew up with on the South Side, they weren't necessarily bad people, but they weren't really college bound, so to say. Their life was going in a different direction. So I knew that if I stayed in Tucson and I went to U of A, who knows? I might end up be hanging out with them and get into problems or bad influences. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to concentrate, I'm going to have to leave town. So I told myself, well, if I stay in state, I'll try to go to Arizona State or NAU, or in this case, since USC, gave me some good offers, I ended up going to USC, which is in LA, obviously. So it's still Pac-12 country, Pac-10 in those days, and I have no regrets that it went well, and that's one of the reasons. There's a million though. If you look into a college experience, as you'll probably know, you have to look into every single factor. So that was just some of the many.
Well, that's great. What was your favorite college experience?
I've had, I can't, I guess it's hard for me to say one particular experience, but I feel like one of my biggest experiences as a whole was getting involved with the journalism type activities there. I wrote for the Daily Trojan, which is the USC student run newspaper. And I did news. I mean, I do mostly sports now, but I started off as a news reporter and I did both. And, I have fond memories of working for besides the school newspaper, which is like the Arizona Daily Wildcat would be at U of A, but also getting involved with KSCR, which is the campus run radio station. And I only, besides doing broadcasting and play-by-play, just like the great Francisco Romero, I would do play-by-play for the student run radio station for the USC football games, basketball, baseball, and everything. So it was a good experience. And then, USC has a TV station. They call it Trojan Vision now. At that time, we had another name, and I was able to do that. So those are my experiences. But outside of journalism, my recommendation to anybody who goes to college is to get involved with the extracurricular activities, and that includes the high school level as well. And I did that a lot, even in organizations that maybe I wasn't. It wasn't my major. I wasn't a business major, but I did organizations like LBSA, Latino Business Student Association, stuff like that. And one of my bigger experiences overall, if I could just talk about my college experience, not having to do with academics or my career, was being a residential advisor, an RA in the dorms. In some cases, it's like student council because you're getting involved. You're trying to create a student atmosphere, of togetherness and everything, and generating that within the dorms, trying to really educate the residents there about diversity and about campus programs and about what the university experience entails. And I feel like, throughout my years there, basically 3.5 years as a residential advisor of my time there in the dorms, I kind of really shaped my experience and really gave me an opportunity to meet more people and really continue those connections I made in college, even now as adult in the real world, so to say.
So, do you do any clubs or do you do any sports or anything outside?
Yeah. Well, I grew up as an athlete, and I wish I could say, just like anybody else that grew up playing basketball, baseball, football, wrestling, the whole 9 yards, that I would love to have played college ball, but at a school like USC, you got to be the best of the best for sports. USC actually keeps trading places with UCLA as the school with the most national championships. Actually, Stanford's up there now too. I heard they're getting up there. But whatever the case is, so there's no way I would have had a chance. I don't think. I mean, I could have tried to walk on and been a bench warmer, but I did play intramural sports, which you do at the college level, and I was lucky enough to be on some teams where we got some good players and we'd win the intramural USC championships and like flag football, and they didn't have baseball, but it was we had a good like softball team, it was co-ed and stuff. So in that sense, I did. But like I said, I was in other extracurricular activities like journalism type stuff. I got involved with LBSA, like I said, the Latino Business Student Association. I was involved with what else? Any of the journalistic activities that you could think of, whether it be the USC student-run TV station, USC's radio station, which I, in addition to broadcasting games, play-by-play and color commentary, like the great Pueblo High School grad Francisco Romero, I also did DJing of music as well, and that kind of got me into that. A lot of people don't realize, but I used to work for Hot 98 FM, La Caliente. At that time, they called it, and at that time they hip hop, Tex-Mex, Mexican music. It was like a really quote unquote bilingual station, a Spanglish station, if you will. And now it's just evolved into just being hip hop. But anyways, I mean, those experiences in other clubs and organizations are really what made my college experience and allowed me to meet a lot of other people from all different backgrounds.
How are you able to manage, school homework with extracurricular things and football games?
It was lots of discipline. Let me tell you, USC is a high, it's a high on academics college. It's not easy to get in. I was fortunate enough to do that, but I always had a good work ethic, and that's why I got good grades in high school or even in college. So, but I knew I had to work hard, and I would take 18 units a semester in addition to working 25, 30 hours, because part of my schedule was work study. Not my schedule, but my financial aid pack, which is a lot of work study. So I had to, balance that. And at USC, we didn't, some colleges give you college credit for taking internships. We didn't get it. We had to do it on our own time. So to answer your question, I didn't sleep that much. But I did, I knew it was essential that I work. So I started off actually working at the campus dining hall, and I was a dishwasher, believe it or not. But I mean, it was something that wasn't easy, but I made a lot of really good friends doing it, and people that just lived in the neighborhood, like South Central LA or whatever, non-students and stuff. And it was cool. That was part of a growing up experience for me as well. I always worked when I was in high school. I worked at Whataburger. I was a bus boy at Village Inn. I was even a paper boy. And I'd sold newspapers and stuff when I was younger. So I was used to working, but then after my freshman year, I started realizing, you know what, I got to have a job, but I need to find something that can help me study at the same time. So I was fortunate enough to get a job at the USC library, the Doheny Library. It's the main library. And I would work kind of an overnight shift. So it allowed me, if I worked from like 10 p.m. at night to 2 a.m., and there was not as many people that would go in the library, so I could have amounts of time where I was kind of on the clock, but I was able to study as well. So the key to working and being involved, in addition to being a good student, is just time organization. and I just had to follow my schedules. And luckily USC is not like a party school like some of the other ones like U of A or ASU have turned into over the years. So I didn't have those distractions. But it is hard, and it's hard to keep up with the curve. I mean, there's a lot of international students that go to USC, and because of that, the only reason why they're here in the U.S. is because they're studying. That's what their mission is, 24/7. They're not there like others who want to get involved in some activities, maybe go to social stuff, whatever. They're just studying 24/7, and you have to compete against them for the curve. So it makes you have to be on your A game as well. But it's just all about time management, just like you'll find it as an adult as well.
So why would you recommend USC to someone who's looking for college?
I would recommend it, especially to you, Isabella, because I think one of the bigger experiences in life for me was getting away and getting out of state for college. Because, as a kid, I just grew up in Tucson, and I rarely left even the South Side. And if I did, it was probably like more on the West Side. I didn't really see everything in Tucson like you see as an adult once you get out there later in life. So I was kind of sheltered in my own world. And, growing up on the South Side, most of the people that you grow up with are, Latino, of Mexican American or what have you, especially in the Sunnyside Unified School District. But I had never been exposed to any more, quote unquote, diversity in life, people of all walks of life. So when I went to USC, it opened up my eyes to a whole new world of diversity. For the first time in my life, I was, I've been around, I was being around Middle Eastern students, people from other countries, a lot of Asian students, and, in Southern California, and especially at the university level, there's a lot of Asian students. And, it was really truly getting to see more diversity. And I think that allows you in life to get more experiences, and you meet people from other backgrounds. And when you say diversity, I don't just mean people from other countries, like even people within the United States. When we grew up here in Tucson, we don't know, we're not around people that might be from the South or maybe from New York or whatever. So there's so much subculture within the US culture that you kind of meet these people from all walks of life. And, growing up on the South Side, I really didn't grow up around anybody that had any money. And I would go to USC, and the next thing you know, I'm in class with people that are like, whose parents are like Hollywood producers or who are kid stars in some TV shows and stuff. And, I ended up being like the residential advisors, or I ended up being their, classmates and stuff. So, but it gave me an opportunity to leave Tucson and, open up my world to a whole new arena of diversity. And as I'd mentioned earlier, you gain a lot of friendships and stuff growing up in your hometown. And, I'm sure you're doing that at Pueblo High School and everything. But, sometimes it's good for you to leave so you can fully concentrate on your studies. And I was able to do that. And like I said, if I stayed here in Tucson, I would have learned a lot. I'm sure in college I would have gone to the U of A, but I still would have been tied down by some of the influences and people that maybe aren't going to college that might pull you back. And not because they're bad people, but they just can't relate. You have to be around other people that can relate to you. When you say, hey man, I would love to get together with you tonight or tomorrow or whatever it is, but I'm sorry, I got to study, or I got to work, or I got to concentrate on this project. And sometimes people that aren't in college like you, they can't identify, and they don't realize that. So I think it really is a better experience to try to do that. And in your case, or anybody else going to USC, I mean, the academic level is top notch and it's second to none. And you walk away with that USC degree, and you're going to stand out more than you will at many other universities. And if you end up staying in California, in LA or whatever, there's a lot more job opportunities there. It helps you even more because there's such a good network of USC alumni that are at almost, any venue in the job world. And it always helps to somebody who's doing the hiring. They know that you made it through rigorous programs like USC, and they're pretty confident to hire you. So I think it helps you in those realms as well.
So what is some advice you could give to future USC students or college students in general, especially for someone who wants to have the same major that you did?
Okay, so that's the thing, exactly. So broadcast journalism. My suggestion to you is to keep getting involved. Projects like this that are enhancing your communication skills. Writing is key, and a lot of people think that by being on TV or broadcasting, you're just talking or whatever. But you need to sharpen those storytelling skills. And at USC, when I was there, at least the broadcast journalism program was it was the foundation around it was writing, and it still is. I mean, that's how it is in the real world with broadcast journalism. But we had to take print classes before we did any broadcasting classes. So it was all like stuff that you would write for a newspaper because they wanted to really make sure you had the storytelling down. And and the key is getting involved. Like at your age now, if you have a school paper at Pueblo High School, a school TV. Now, when I was in high school, only the quote unquote rich high schools had the video stuff where they could do their little broadcast or whatever. But now I think even a lot of the schools have them. So if you have a school, if Pueblo still has a broadcasting program, definitely keep getting involved with that. Try to do some anchoring. You obviously have to produce your own stuff. In this day and age, you have to pick up a camera and shoot it yourself. But the more you practice and the more you utilize those writing, the better. My suggestion too for somebody like yourself is that even as a kid, you can still get involved in writing now. Like you could easily offer to intern or even see if you can be able to do a small column or write an article every few weeks, maybe even for like Arizona Bilingual, for instance. And obviously it's important for you. You know how important it is to be bilingual, and that'll only enhance your opportunities as well. But if you want to start now, you got to start planning now. You got to keep your grades up, because USC is turning into one of those programs where, if you don't even have a 1400 SAT, they're not even going to look at you. And, you definitely need to have all A's and B's, preferably all A's in many cases. So, you just got to start concentrating now. But I will tell you this about USC. Also, they take pride in when you get accepted to USC, they commit to 100% of your financial need. Meaning, if you need financial aid, if you're a student that doesn't come from a lot of money, they look at what your parents make and they will look at it and they will give you 100% of that financial need. So in other words, there's a lot of grants out there. There's a lot of outside agency scholarships, and there's a lot of loans, student loans that they provide to help students. So I would start just concentrating on all those things now. It seems to me though that you're doing the right things.
Well, thank you so much, Paul, for taking the time and talking to me about USC. I learned a lot. And as we always say, we gotta keep fighting on, and we gotta work hard to get what we want.
Oh, that's good. And funny how you say you got to keep fighting on, because that's, like I said, that's what USC is. They do this victory sign and they say fight on. It's like U of A's bear down, USC's fight on. So I always joke around with my friend. Look at that. My cat just sorry about that. I always joke around with my friends here in Tucson because I grew up an Arizona fan. They're still my team, U of A, but USC, I'm an alum there, so I got to go for them too. But I always tell people, bear down and fight on. I go, bear down and fight on.
Well, thank you so much. I had a great experience talking to you.
No, definitely. And if you have any other questions down the line, let me know. The USC Alumni Association of Southern Arizona is strong here too. So they have events here and there as well. So if you ever have any, what are you, a sophomore now?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman. Okay, so you still got a few years. So you got plenty of time to work at it.
Okay.
And you don't have to learn anything from me. You're going to learn from the best of the best. Francisco Romero, you know that. Francisco Romero, the mero.
Thank you.
All right, take care. See you later. Bye.